Why is it that whenever a peaceful world sends out a desperate cry for help across the galaxy, they always hope to hear the same response? Don't worry, human warships are on the way. In the distant galaxy of Nexus, the peaceful planet of Zephyr was about to find out. The Zephyrians had always been a gentle race, known for their love of art and harmony. Their blue-skinned people lived in crystal cities that sparkled like diamonds under their twin suns. But now, dark ships filled their skies. The Shadow Fleet had arrived, bringing terror and destruction to their peaceful world. These alien invaders were unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Their ships looked like twisted metal and flesh combined, pulsing with an evil red glow. The Zephyrians tried to fight back. Their defense stations in space fired energy beams at the enemy, but there were too many shadow ships. The stations exploded one by one, lighting up the darkness of space with brief, bright flashes. On the planet's surface, Zephyrian fighters flew their sleek silver ships against the invaders. The pilots were skilled and brave, but they were outnumbered 100-1. Their ships danced through the air, firing blue energy bolts, but the Shadow Fleet kept coming. In the Great Hall of Zephyr Prime, the planet's capital city, the Council of Leaders watched the battle through their viewing screens. The eldest leader, Zara, shook her head sadly. Her long silver hair caught the light from the crystal walls. "We cannot win this fight alone," she said to the other leaders. "Our people are brave, but we need help. We must send a message to anyone who will listen." The leaders agreed. They sent out a distress call across the galaxy, hoping someone would hear them and come to help.
I'm very mess. I will see.
The message traveled through space, bouncing from star to star. Far away, on the human ship called Defender, Captain Jake Stone received the message. Jake was a tall man with kind eyes and a strong jaw. He had spent years protecting peaceful worlds from space pirates and alien threats. "This is Captain Stone of the Earth Defense Force," he said into his communicator. "We got your message, Zephyr. Help is coming. Hold on tight." The Defender was a massive warship, painted white with blue stripes. Its hull gleamed like polished metal, and its engines glowed with powerful energy. Jake's crew was made up of the best fighters in the galaxy, men and women who had sworn to protect innocent people. On the bridge, Jake looked at the tactical display showing the enemy fleet. His second-in-command, Commander Lisa Park, stood beside him. She was a smart woman who had never lost a space battle. "Captain," she said, pointing at the screen, "the Shadow Fleet has over 200 ships. They're using some kind of biotechnology we've never seen before." Jake nodded. Biotechnology meant the ships were part machine, part living creature. It made them harder to destroy, but not impossible. "What about their weakness?" Jake asked. Lisa touched the screen, highlighting parts of the enemy ships. "Their organic parts need constant energy to stay alive. If we can cut off that energy, they'll die." Jake smiled grimly. "Then that's what we'll do. All hands, prepare for battle. We're going to save Zephyr." The Defender's engines roared to life, pushing the ship faster than light toward the Zephyr system. Other human ships joined them, forming a rescue fleet. Together, they raced through space to help their new allies. Meanwhile, on Zephyr, the situation was getting worse. Shadow soldiers had landed in the cities, hunting down civilians. These creatures looked like giant insects with razor-sharp claws and glowing red eyes. They showed no mercy to anyone they found. In the crystal city of New Dawn, Zephyrian warriors fought desperately in the streets. Their energy swords clashed with the claws of the shadow soldiers. The beautiful buildings were cracking and falling as the battle raged, but the Zephyrians refused to give up. In the forests outside the cities, rangers used hit-and-run tactics against the invaders. They would appear from behind trees, fire their weapons, then disappear again before the enemy could fight back. Under the purple oceans of Zephyr, submarines battled strange jellyfish-like creatures that the Shadow Fleet had brought with them. The Zephyrian subs were fast and quiet, striking at the alien sea monsters with underwater missiles. The battle seemed hopeless, until a bright flash appeared in the sky. The Defender and its fleet had arrived, dropping out of hyperspace right above the planet. The human ships were a beautiful sight, their white hulls shining against the stars. Captain Stone stood on his bridge, watching the enemy fleet surround his ships. There were so many shadow vessels that they looked like a dark cloud in space. All ships. "This is Stone," he said over the radio. "Target their command ship first. Take out their leader and the rest will fall apart." The human ships opened fire. Bright beams of energy and streams of missiles shot toward the Shadow Fleet. The largest enemy ship, a massive creature that looked like a giant spider, was hit by dozens of attacks at once. The Shadow Command ship's organic armor couldn't handle the damage. It began to break apart, its red glow fading to black. As it died, the other Shadow ships seemed to lose their coordination, flying in confused circles. Fighter pilot Sarah Chen flew her small ship through the chaos, firing at enemy fighters. Her ship was fast and nimble, dodging the clumsy attacks of the biomechanical creatures. "Got 3 more," she reported over the radio. "These things are tough, but not very smart." Her wingman, Tom Rodriguez, was right behind her. His ship spun and twisted through the enemy formation, its weapons blazing. "I'm on your 6, Sarah. Let's clear a path to the planet." The space battle was turning in favor of the humans, but the fight on Zephyr's surface was still raging. Captain Stone made a decision that would change everything. "Prepare the Marines for landing," he ordered. "We're going down there to help." Transport ships launched from the Defender, carrying human soldiers to the planet below. These Marines were the best fighters in the galaxy, trained to fight in any environment against any enemy. Sergeant Mike Johnson led the first squad to land. He was a veteran of many battles, a man who had never left a friend behind. His power armor was painted green and black, and his rifle could punch through solid steel. The transport ship landed in the middle of New Dawn City, where Zephyrian civilians were trapped by shadow soldiers. The Marines rushed out, their weapons ready. "Targets ahead," Johnson shouted. "Protect the civilians." The Marines opened fire with their advanced weapons. The shadow soldiers, caught by surprise, fell back under the assault. Energy bolts and explosive rounds tore through their ranks. But the shadow creatures were tough. They regrouped and attacked again, their claws extended and their red eyes blazing with hate. The battle in the streets was fierce and deadly. A young Zephyrian warrior named Kira fought alongside the Marines. Her silver armor was dented and scratched, but she never stopped fighting. She moved like a dancer, her energy blade cutting through the enemy. Behind them, Johnson called out. More coming from the east. The humans and Zephyrians worked together, covering each other and sharing ammunition. Despite their different backgrounds, they fought as one team against their common enemy. The battle lasted for hours. In space, the Defender and its fleet hunted down the last shadow ships. On the planet, Marines and Zephyrian warriors cleared the cities of invaders. Finally, as the twin suns set over Zephyr Prime, the last shadow soldier fell. The invasion was over. The planet was free. In the Great Hall, Captain Stone met with the Zephyrian leaders. The crystal walls had been cracked by the fighting, but they still sparkled with inner light. Leader Zara stepped forward, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Captain Stone," she said, "you and your people have saved our world. We will never forget this day." Jake smiled and shook her hand. "That's what friends do for each other. And from now on, Earth and Zephyr are friends." The celebration that followed lasted for days. Humans and Zephyrians shared food, stories, and songs. They learned about each other's cultures and formed bonds that would last forever. In the months that followed, the two worlds helped each other heal. Human engineers worked with Zephyrian architects to rebuild the damaged cities. The crystal spires rose even higher than before, reaching toward the stars. Scientists from both worlds studied the remains of the Shadow Fleet, learning how to defend against future attacks. They discovered that the bioships were created by an ancient enemy that had been sleeping in the dark spaces between galaxies. A new alliance was born from the ashes of war. The Earth-Zephyr Pact promised that both worlds would come to each other's aid in times of need. Together, They would stand against any threat that might come from the darkness of space. The galaxy was a little bit safer because of their friendship. And in the years that followed, when other peaceful worlds called for help, they would hear the same message that had saved Zephyr. Help is coming. Hold on tight.